Hey, it's Tpok. I'm back in Leaves, and yeah, we were walking the streets. There was this little restaurant around these parts that I frequented when I couldn't take the monotony of a convenience store food anymore. It was a rare treat. Okay, I can't use my spacebar. I was walking along, minding my own business, when I heard what sounded like an argument coming from an alleyway. I should have just kept moving along, but instead I followed the volume on my... But instead I killed the volume on my MP3 player, and I heard everything. Come on, girlie, let's have some fun together. What'd you say? But I can't. My dog. Just tie that mutt to that there telephone pole. It'll be just fine. I'm telling you, babe. There's this nice coffee shop down that ways. Sorry, no, I can't. God damn it. What does a guy have to do to get some peace and quiet around here? I mean, here I was, minding my own business, traveling down side streets so I could avoid human contact. And now this. There really wasn't much of another way to that restaurant either. I was going to have to walk right past them. But whatever, this has nothing to do with me. It was high time to invoke the not my problem cloaking field and sweep right by. Dude, don't be that guy. If I could manage it. Oh, come on, Missy, don't you give me that. You're coming with me, yeah? Well, fortunately for me, the guy in the aloha shirt hasn't noticed that I was there. Probably too busy putting his lousy moves on his victim there. I glanced over in their general direction and froze. Then I let out a soft sigh. Alright, so much for the restaurant. If I took one more step, I was going to get involved in this mess. And while having to settle for convenience store fare sucked, it sucked a lot less than the alternative here. Right, time to turn around and walk the other way. Don't do that. So I started doing just that, but not before whispering a few choice curses under my breath. The girl looked straight at me, begging me with her eyes to help her. Help her. Oh my gosh, dude. I completely ignored her. Alright, let's go, girlie, let's go. This'll be great. But sir, I need to walk my dog, so... What the hell's the matter now, babe? I need to walk my dog, so I'm sorry. That's so. I had a finger on my MP3 player's play button. I was about to flick it on when I heard Aloha sigh. Then a thick, wet crunching sound. The dog let out one howl of pain and fear, and the girl let out a similar scream. This was too much even for me. I had to turn and look. What I saw stunned me. A dachshund, breathing heavily, frothing at the mouth, otherwise motionless on the ground. And a pretty girl around my age standing stock still, trembling faintly, and the reality of her present situation dawning on her. It was clear to see. Aloha kicked the dog with all his might. Walking your fucking dog, huh? Well, how do you like it now? Now that he's dead, you gonna come with me or not? Oh, dear God, no. I had no idea what the hell she was thinking walking through these parts in the first place. Lots of dangerous sorts around. The city wasn't a particularly safe place even on the best of days. No place for a girl like her. Well, what are you gonna do now, bitch? Please, I beg you, please stop. Then you're coming with me. Or else. Aloha took a step toward the girl. Now she was cornered. Help! Somebody help! What a pitiful voice. And you know what made it more pitiful? That somebody was me. What the hell? I guess I'm going to the restaurant after all, I muttered. I made my way toward Aloha and the girl without making a sound. Aha, that's right, you stupid fucking cunt. There's no one around. No knight in shining armor is gonna come sweeping you off your feet this time. Help! What did you just call her? Stupid fucking cunt? How ironic. Well, okay, maybe, just maybe, Aloha didn't have a cunt, but he was pretty fucking stupid. He didn't even know that I was there. This was like shooting fish in a barrel. One hit and it would be lights out for him. All too easy. He'd never see it coming. And 3, 2, 1, go. Die. Ugh. One vicious jump kick was all it took. He fell to the asphalt hard. And now it was his head making thick, wet crunching sound on the pavement. Mission accomplished. He wasn't going to be getting up for a bit. It served him right. Oh, the girl breathed as I landed, shook my head and put my headphones back on. You know, I remarked to her casually, you probably ought to take him to a hospital soon. Huh? She looked back up at me like a deer caught in headlights. Your dog, not that idiot. Oh, you saved me, thank you very much. She managed, her breath coming in huge gasps of relief. De nada. Now, I'm off to go grab something to eat. See you around, kid, I replied with a wave. The girl just stood there. I shrugged, and was about to leave myself when Aloha started showing signs of life. God damn it, who the hell? He yelled. I probably should have stomped on his head and sent him back to Dreamland before he got up, but there was something so wild about that shout that I struck a ready fighting pose instead and waited. You fucking asshole, you think you're gonna waltz in here and be some dumbass hero, huh? And under any other circumstance I would have burst out laughing. This was ridiculous. Because now I got my first good look at Aloha's face. It was a pitiful sight. Blood everywhere, bruises, his face looked half caved in from that kick I gave him. But that wasn't what made my hair stand up on end. It was the look in his eyes and the menace in his voice. He looked drunk or otherwise intoxicated and in a murderous rage. Something wasn't quite right about this. This guy was dangerous. To call what I was feeling fear wasn't really accurate. It was more like the weird sinking in the pit of your stomach when you walk into your house and you know there's something lurking in the shadows. So I kept my guard up, and Aloha drew even nearer. The punch came almost from out of nowhere. Given the way he was stumbling uncoordinated, there was no way he should have been able to attack with such power or accuracy. I'm gonna kill ya, tough guy, he screamed. Maybe I was taken by surprise. Maybe I wasn't in my usual shape. Whatever it was, my footwork wasn't quite good enough. Aloha's fist crunched into the left side of my head. My vision wavered. I tasted blood in my mouth. My instincts came alive. I jumped back to make sure he couldn't continue his assault. Ow, that hurt, I spat. Now everything's gonna taste strange. You'll pay for this. The pain was keeping me in sharp focus. Man, how long had it been since I'd last done this? Maybe a year. I calmed my breathing down and cleared my mind. Yeah, this was gonna be fun. Die, Aloha yelled again. Men talk about a limited vocabulary, and even more limited fighting ability. Aloha just rushed on, charging me. I sidestepped with complete ease and let loose a vicious left jab to the abdomen. Ugh, he moaned, stopping in his tracks. Before he could even react, I brought my right fist around. I crashed into his head with a satisfying crunch. And Aloha went down yet again. He had the grace to stay down for the count this time around. Too bad for him, he'd obviously gotten a lot more than he'd bargained for. Not to say he was any ordinary hood, but, well, too bad he didn't have the 6 hard years of karate that I did. Too bad that I didn't feel like losing today. Too bad it had been so long since I put all those karate skills to use. Too bad that I really had no inclination to continue developing them. All sorts of regrets. See, Everything turned out for the worst every single damn time I stuck my nose in something I shouldn't. The girl looked like she was about to faint. She managed. Thank you so much. No problem, I said, shrugging. She continued on as if she hadn't heard me. You saved my life. I don't know what else to say, but... Look, I snapped, now a little annoyed. Just take that damn dog to the vet, okay? Yes, sir, she mumbled back. I walked away. I didn't give the girl a second look. Okay. Are we at the restaurant? No. I opened the door to my apartment. No need for a key. Yeah, I know in this world of madmen and thieves it was always a good idea to make sure your door was locked, but I had nothing that anyone would want to steal. I'd have welcomed it if someone had stolen what little I had, at least so I thought. Everything about this place was pretty untouched. The door slid smoothly open without so much as a creak. The smell of new wooden flooring greeted my nostrils. So, she's here, I said to myself. I noticed a very familiar-looking pair of shoes sitting there as I took my well-worn sneakers off. And when I strained my ears, there was someone else here, all right. And not just any someone I'd known for a lifetime. I threw my sneakers in the corner, walked into the kitchen, and opened the door. And when I saw her sitting there, I called out to her softly. Hey there, Matsuri. Oh, hi. Good day to you, too, she said as she stood. I let myself in, as you can see. I apologize for the intrusion. Then she bowed to me with great grace and formality. Weird, not something you'd expect out of someone you've known since you were a kid. Her white school uniform, spotless as usual, rustled gently as she sat back down. She put down the paperback she'd been reading to kill time and adjusted her glasses briefly. The book dropped like a splotchy shadow on the pristine white of her skirt. Well, it's not like I mind anyhow, I muttered in response. From my vantage point, I couldn't see what the title of the book was. There was a key on the table where she was sitting. I'd given that to her when I first moved in. There usually isn't much that two childhood friends don't know about each other. But this one, there wasn't much that I did know about her. Here's what I did know. She had beautiful long hair as black as night, totally untouched by color or bleach. And partially, that was a foregone conclusion. Her private school had pretty strict rules and regulations in that regard. But only partially. The way her hair shone and glistened in the sunlight, as the sunlight came streaming in through the window, you knew her hair didn't get this way because of some stupid regulation or some slovenly lack of care. No, she took special care to make it this way. Whenever she turned her gaze on you, you felt flooded with her calm and her intelligence. Her little lips were always slightly pursed, as if they'd snap shut at even the thought of saying something stupid, which of course she never did. The air about her was so sharp it could cut you. Awfully late today, are we not? She started, but then she noticed the welt on my face and muttered, Oh dear, what happened to you? Did you get into a fight again? Oh. Her voice was a disinterested monotone as always. Yeah. There really wasn't much I knew about her after all. I muttered back, yeah, something like that. On the other hand, the way Matsuri was looking up at me right now, I was struck with the conviction that she could peer right into my soul. That gaze of hers. Sometimes I wondered if she saw through everything the way she saw through me. It's pretty nice out, you know, I said lamely. Yes, I know, she replied in the same monotone. I had much the same thought when I was walking here. In response, I asked, and when was that? When you got here, that is. Oh, during school hours, she replied dryly. I muttered, that's just lovely. I opened the refrigerator and took out the one thing in it, a bottle of oolong tea. Let's see, I muttered. Still before the expiration date. Good. I filled 2 little cups with the tea, brought them to the table and set one of them before Matsuri. She nodded with a courteous "thank you very much" for my troubles. She lifted her glasses off the table, leaving a cold ring of condensation in the fine film of dust that had seemed to coat everything. She stared at this phenomenon for what seemed like a long time. Finally, as if the moisture or the dust had choked up some secret to her, she nodded again. Then she stood and started walking around the apartment again. A little smile crept across her face. "I see," she muttered. "Yes, I see. Huh?" I managed. I had no idea what she was seeing now. But whatever it was, she seemed to be awfully self-satisfied about it. "You really have no intention of living here, is that not correct?" she continued with that same maddening smile. "Huh," I replied, choosing words with care. "Well, yeah, I'm usually someplace else, so naturally." "Is that so?" she shot back coolly as she returned to her chair and sat down. That someplace else happened to be Tuka's apartment, of course. Matsuri knew that as well as I did, but she kept pretending not to know, wearing a stranger's face and mouthing a stranger's words. "You really have a problem with this," she murmured, gesturing at the empty apartment. "A problem?" I shrugged in response. "Come now," she snorted softly. "Do not be tense. A problem with being indebted to somebody else, obviously." I couldn't say anything for a second. She hit the bullseye all right. The reason I never stayed in this place for too long, the reason why I never settled down, was just that simple. I never asked for this. It caused me no end of pain to be handed money and a place to live by these people who didn't have a single drop of blood in common with me. They were an unfortunate man and woman, unable to have any kids of their own, and I a sickly child born of the frenzied coupling of 2 animals who hardly knew themselves, let alone each other. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking, but he is. That pretty much summed up the relationship that existed between me and my adoptive parents. One side with too much money, and therefore weak. The other with too little money, and therefore weak. Both sides empty, and seeking to fill some fundamental hole in their own natures with each other. A consistent give and take. Some made it work. Too bad we couldn't. Too bad we remained square pegs with round holes. Now, once my parents had taken responsibility for me, they couldn't really stop, and so they raised me as one of their own. Or at least they tried. They failed, and it hurt. And so I ran, as hard as my legs would let me, from their empty care. I changed my surname back to the one I'd had at birth, the disgraced call sound of a disgraced family, branded myself with it. These days I scrapped by, making enough money to live on even as I attended, or didn't attend, high school. And as for this apartment, more or less I only used it as a meeting place for when my foster parents wanted to come visit me. Hell, it was theirs to begin with anyhow. I only came around here once a week, just to clean the place up. The walls were white and the flooring was brand new, a cold, empty environment with no trace of human life or emotional attachment to it. "Well," I finally said, "should I even ask?" Matsuri looked completely taken by surprise at my question. After a second she replied, "Whatever about?" "The reason you've skipped school and come here, obviously," I snorted. She said slowly. "Let me think about that." And to my surprise, she did seem lost in thought. Now, as I said before, I didn't know much about her, but I did know that she didn't come around this place just for no reason at all. Especially given that there was no guarantee that I'd ever show up at any given time. A warning, perhaps, or some advice. She faltered here before going on. "No, I suppose it was to ask a question." "What question?" I asked. She shot me an odd look before muttering, "Don't you already know?" What the hell are you talking about? I can't read your mind, just in case you haven't noticed. I shot back, a wry smile coming a bit into my face. But Matsuri just went on, her expression completely blank. Meds. A single word, 4 letters long. A piece of street slang completely unlike to fall from the little lips of a well-bred young lady like her. Meds? I said lamely. Yes, meds, she retorted with a hint of exasperation. Drugs, obviously. I managed an uh-huh before completely falling silent. This was impossible. Why would someone like her, an elegant young princess from a rich family who of her own free will attended one of the top private all-girl academies in the entire country, get herself involved in something like that? Everything about her was the very freaking picture of smooth sailing. And sure, in some people, the waves hid nightmares so dark that no amount of light could illuminate the depths of the waters. But not Matsuri. She wasn't like that. She lived her life on her own terms. She chose to stay with her family. She chose to attend that school. I didn't know much, but I did know this. That there was no way she'd just say, meds, in the same way I'd say it. Well, guys. Matsuri wants to get high, I guess. I don't know. That's not good, but I guess next time we'll see why she wants them. I'm assuming it's for personal use at the moment, but you never know. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.